Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Lyle podcast, coming to you from the Midwest of all places. And I'm sitting outside in a backyard, just basking in sunlight, surrounded by squirrels and birds, insects, falling leaves, and neighborhood dogs, which you might hear. I just did some writing and I wrote about dreams. And I want to share a podcast with you about that. And I want to talk about the difference in dreams. We have different kinds of dreams. And in particular, I want to talk about two different kinds of dreams. And one is spurred by a Hafiz poem. Hafiz was, but his work lives on. He was a mystic poet from Persia, like a millennia ago, which is amazing, and speaks to the power of the human spirit and art to persevere, and for truth to persevere. So I enjoy Hafiz's work quite a bit, and it's been very meaningful to me. And in this season of my life right now, there's a good deal of transition, and we could, that's to put it lightly, and there's parts of the transition that I've been longing for, desiring, and there's parts of this transition that this is not how I envisioned it happening. This is not how I wished it to happen. And there's been a good deal of suffering and grief in this journey. And I also am aware that there's a lot of beauty around, and so many things to be grateful for. And in this transition, I came across this Hafiz poem. A lot of times I'll just flip through the book of poems that I have of his. Is it called like The Gift, I think? I didn't think to bring the book with me, so I can't reference it. But there's this poem that starts out with something along the lines, and it grabbed me right away, something along the lines of, all your images of winter I see across your sky. Okay, poetry. All your images of winter I see across your sky, which I've started to make into a song recently. Do I dare sing it out loud a cappella? I almost did. I don't know that I'm so daring, but makes for, in my opinion, a really good song. We'll just say that, and I don't know how that works to use somebody's work from so long ago in a poem, but all your images of winter I see across your sky. Wow. And that just grabbed me, took hold of me, pierced like layers on the outside, and went into and it just opened, it put me in rapid contact with my heart in essence. And there was a truth, and art has this way of just revealing things that are true, sharing things that are true, that break down things in us that are not so true. And poetry is something for a long time I didn't have access to. I wasn't exposed to it in growing up. In pre-adolescence, in my teens, 20s, 30s, and 30s, just whenever I encountered it, I was too busy, I was too go, and poetry requires you to slow down. And I'm so, so grateful. It's probably been 5 or 6 years where poetry is really emerged in my life, and I have a growing collection of poetry books that, so, and I could say as an aside, but just to substantiate this and to discuss the importance of poetry in my life, is right now I've been downsizing many things and continuing to do deeper cuts, downsizing into more elemental, essential things that I might need to live a thriving life, and letting go of the things that are excess that I don't need and honestly, weigh me down to have. And that is a process, and a process that's ongoing. But when I looked at my book collection, one of the things that rose in my decision making was poetry books stay. Other books that I even really enjoy that are, more essay based or things like that, I have let go. But poems, man, you can just grab it, and I love that you can just flip somewhere and let it take you away. And that's how I found this poem. And it's pretty wild how you'll find things at the right time, or even have poems. And this is a little side note, but also, poems similar, like songs, might speak to you, but they're a gift to you for the future. But how I encountered this poem was really like flipped in, read, and it had me in those first few lines: all your images of winter I see across your sky. And I continued to read, and then, probably like 4 stanzas in, it talks about this need to forgive the dream, and that's the title of the poem. And it says that you're having this winter, this projected winter that's coming from, inside the person or inside me, that is able to be seen by others, by someone else, is because of a lack of healing, because of wounds that haven't healed, and it's because God and love haven't become real enough to allow you to forgive the dream. And so then I was like, it had me, but then I was like, what? So I know it's true because it connected in this deep way to me. But then there's part of, but then I pretty quickly get to this part of the poem that I don't really understand. I'm not, I know what that dream is, which makes sense if you're suffering. So much of our suffering is our relationship to what's happening. And so if we're suffering a lot, there's something that we need to awaken to about how we see the world. And so I've been sitting with this: what is this dream that I need to forgive? And that's on a emotional, relational, spiritual, existential kind of level. Meta even. And it's also very intellectually stimulating and interesting to me, because I had never thought of there being that kind of dream, or that I had that in my life. Maybe I could conceptualize that there's dreams somebody needs to let go of, I'm going to be an NBA player, or, I'm going to be a rock star, or things like that maybe cause suffering in somebody's life because it's just you don't really have the talent, or you don't have the circumstances in your life to get there, whether it's your quote unquote fault or not. You're just having a lot of suffering because you can't see the beauty that's around you. You can't find work that's meaningful because you're so consumed with this other thing, or or your identity is so entrenched with it, you don't see other aspects of your identity. So I'm aware of that. But then in my life, like, what is this dream that I need to forgive? Because I feel like I'm living a very value-based life, a life that is very reflective and contemplative and wanting to learn and grow. But then again, there's this truth of this poem, the truth of the art that just pierced through layers, got right to this essential me. So what is that? What do you think of that? Do you have dreams? So this category of dream, I would say this is a dream that creates profound suffering. It's a dream that is pulling back and not allowing forward movement. It's a dream that is causing us to stagnate, to be disconnected, to lose hope. A dream that causes us to lose hope. But I think there are other kind of dreams. So I think that's one kind of dream that's emerged in my life recently, and that I'm considering quite deeply. And I'm very curious for you, if you relate to that, if you've processed through dreams like that, or if that is also for you a very new concept that you need to sit with, but it touches something in you that you say, yep, I can sense the truth in that, even though I don't quite understand it. And then I'm also very aware of, present day in my life, other dreams that there's a different kind of suffering. The suffering is from a lack of movement towards. This is like a dream that wants to pull me towards the future. This is a dream that wants me to expand and be bigger. But I don't want to. I'm too afraid. I'm afraid that, because it's such a big dream that it's going to take years, it's going to take decades to fulfill. There's going to be so many steps in it. There's going to be so much trusting and letting go that's going to need to happen. There's going to be so much just consistency and hard work that needs to happen in order for that to be fulfilled. And it can be really hard to step into those dreams and continue to step into those dreams and continue to step into those dreams. And can you relate to that kind of dream? I think we see those kind of dreams. We have those dreams, but then society can have different beliefs about it, or we might be socialized to have different beliefs about those kind of dreams, that maybe they're a pipe dream, that they're not something that's true or possible. But I think these kind of dreams are the kind of dreams that only happen through the years and decades of work. They only happen because of growth. They only happen because of reflection, because of showing up, because of commitment, because of connection to your deep self and your deep truth and your essence in that heart. And so I've been thinking about these two different kind of dreams, and in my life, what are the dreams that I need to let go of and be more expansive in my view of the world, because that was a dream that was limiting me. That was a dream that was rooted in stasis, that wasn't allowing me to change and grow and adapt. And then these other dreams that necessitate that I grow and change and learn and risk, that I'm brave, that require that I work and then rest and work and rest and work and rest, and require that I'm deeply connected to myself and to community and to love and what life is all about. So I'm curious for you. Are you, what's your relationship to these kind of dreams? Are you acquainted with them? Do they sound new? What sounds scary? What sounds inviting about them? What feels like next steps for you? But that's what I wanted to talk about in today's podcast, these two types of dreams. this is Elle, and this is the Lyle podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I have a Lyle newsletter that you can also subscribe to if you haven't already, and there is sometimes there's overlap. For example, this podcast was prompted by some writing that I just did for a post on that. Also have a YouTube channel. If you're interested, I also have a project called Becoming Divergent, and that is a much more personal. My work is always personal, but there's this is just like a more vulnerable, cutting edge, more inclusive place, and I have a YouTube channel for that, and I also have a newsletter. I wish I had it on. I do also have products that are all about helping you live your healthiest life through art, and so that's you can get that on Redbubble. I have the ILY series, and very excited about that. Soft launched that in late June, early July. Would love for you just to be the ILY. Some people know, some people don't, but that means I love you. And the design is like it's hand lettered by me, like how I would have written in middle school, writing a note to somebody. These kind of block bubble letters, using primary and complementary colors, and it's really just coming down to like that bottom line love for one another. And it's all about that when we interface with the world, that we're leading with love. And so that's Lyle times Vernacular is the name of that project. VRNCULR. I dropped out some vowels in there, but I think there's the U, vernacular. That might be a little bit hard to find. If you can try to find it. It's on Redbubble. If you can't find it, you can always email me and I'll send you the link. But super excited to have you here. Really, really excited about guests that I've had on that I haven't shared with you yet, that I can't believe that I got to sit down and have a conversation with. And just there's a whole slew of them that I can't wait to share with you. It's just so exciting to learn from people about how to live your healthiest life and how we can do that as individuals and together in community. Man, it's such a curse to not see the goodness that's around you and to not embrace it. And I know that is really hard at times. I feel that so much. And so my wish for you is always that you can see the blessing. May you always see the blessing.